Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Yi. Welcome to our live. I'm the host for today. So before we start, do follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitter, and Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So don't forget to click on the notification bell as well, and then get the most latest update from YouTube. Yeah. So before we go in as well, if you have questions, do comment below in our Facebook and YouTube as well. And today with me, our fund manager, Teng Boo. How are you today?
Okay, as usual, same.
Same.
Still alive,
Still alive.
and breathing.
Oh, that's good to know.
Mm.
So yeah, today our topic is very interesting. It's about what do we not know about Japan?
Yeah.
Yes. And Teng Boo, what comes to your mind when you see the words Japan?
I should be asking you that. What comes to your mind when you say, let's go and visit Japan? What do you?
Food.
Okay, food. What else?
People,
No, no. Okay,
culture,
okay,
and the architecture,
okay. So you think of it
culture.
in a negative way, positive way.
Quite positive, I would say.
So when you think about going to Japan, you say food, right?
Yes.
So sushi, sashimi. What do you think? What comes to your mind immediately?
Freshness of the sushi.
Okay.
Sashimi.
Okay. Then you go to Japan, you think of going to maybe the hot spring,
Oh yes.
the
Well, but I heard
onsen, right?
Yes.
Or go to Hokkaido, right? What else? What else?
Mm,
And the Japanese people are so friendly, right? They always bow to you, right? No.
I mean, yes, it's
Okay.
their culture maybe,
Okay.
but
Okay.
on top of that, I would say, yeah, the culture.
Have you been to Japan?
I've not.
Oh, you haven't been.
It's one of my wish lists.
Okay. Maybe once you listen to me, you might
Yes.
change your wish list.
For sure, yes. And then why?
Because no, I think you asked a very good question. What do you immediately when people say to you Japan or visit Japan, what is it that you associate with, right? What is your impression, right? So generally, I would say that most of the things that you have are positive,
Positive, yes.
right? Because if you go and do an internet Google search and say Japan abuses human rights or something negative about Japan, the search results will be almost zero. You don't trust me? Just go and do yourself, right, and do a research and see. Uh, Search for something negative about Japan. You look for something positive, oh, you get a lot of results.
Yes.
But you search something negative about Japan, almost
Zero.
zero. But when you search something negative about China, you got a lot, a lot, a lot. So my topic is, I think uh, that's not the real truth, like that's not truth, right? Because it cannot be that this country with so many negative things, and yet when you do a Google search, you cannot find a single, which is very difficult to find. Yeah? So that's why I thought, since our followers did not suggest any topic, right?
We can come up with this.
We come up with this topic to just share with people.
Oh, I hope you guys are excited as me because I'm really looking forward for what Singapore has to comment. Yes.
But more importantly is we hope that our viewers, our followers don't see it as being anti-Japanese. We are not anti-Japanese, right? Like you said correctly, uh, the Japanese people are very polite, uh, hardworking, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Wonderful people. But if you look at how the media, especially the Western media, portrays it, it's like as if it's a paradise, right?
Yes.
That's
That's why it's like one of the wish lists that want to go, and then yeah.
You're not the only one. Every time I ask somebody, say, "Oh, I'm going for holiday." Oh, where are you going? Japan.
Japan.
Where are you going? Hokkaido. That kind of thing. I've been to Japan many times.
Oh.
I've been to uh, the famous national park, the Hakone. I've been to Osaka. I've been to Kyoto. I've been to Tokyo. I've been to Kyushu, which is in the southern part, and the mountain. I went to the volcano there called Mount Aso. Kyushu Island is almost, if you like New Zealand, Kyushu Island is almost like New Zealand.
Oh.
The mountains, the temperature, the topography, the landscape is almost like New Zealand. And because New Zealand has got a lot of volcanoes, so Well, Kyushu Island have a volcano called Mount Aso, not ASO, to in case I pronounce it wrongly, you know. So it's a beautiful island, right? And like I said, I've even gone on cruise off the coast of Japan, and those of you who have been to Kyoto, especially the old city of Kyoto, it's very touristy. It's very nice, but a lot of people did not know. A lot of people do not know that the old city of Kyoto is 100% copy of Xi'an or Chang'an, because during the Tang Dynasty, a lot of Japanese scholars uh, was very impressed with China, and they sent a lot of their scholars to China, and the capital of China at the time was Xi'an or Chang'an, to learn from China. And they were so impressed with Xi'an that they copied the whole town planning of Xi'an and put it on Kyoto. Kyoto was the old capital of Japan. Right? So the old city of Kyoto is 100% replica of Xi'an.
Xi'an.
Yeah, or Chang'an. The old name is Chang'an, the new name is Xi'an. Right? So, I mean, I've been to, like I said, I've been to a lot of places in Japan. So, and I was so impressed when I was on the highway. I mean, you look at our highway, our rest area in Malaysia, the North South Highway, and so on. You go to the toilet in the rest area. Sometimes it's clean, sometimes dirty, and all. But I was in the rest area in the Japanese highway, and I was so shocked that the person cleaning this is the men's toilet, obviously, right? Not the women's toilet,
I
right?
cannot go in.
Right. You see this senior citizen, I think it's about maybe 50, 60 years old. The main urinal. He was having this brush. He was brushing every little bit of the urinal. Yeah. And then this was an area in Shinjuku of Japan, and walked past the shop houses. It was about, I think, 3 or 4 story. Again, a senior citizen, senior worker. He was. I stood there because I was so amazed how fastidious they are. He was there cleaning the stairs one by one using a mop and the pail, right? Scrubbing the steps one by one, one by one, one by one.
Imagine the time that have to.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the positive part of Japan. Right? But you say that you think of food, right? Have you ever thought about eating raw fish like sushi, sashimi, and then finding a worm in it?
Yeah,
You have?
I have thought about it,
Oh, but you haven't seen it before.
but I haven't. I saw it on video, like
Uh-huh,
YouTube
uh-huh,
videos, like
uh-huh.
those little kind of bacteria. I'm not sure.
Worms.
Yes, worms.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh no, a bit scared. Like that's what happened if let's say they import it in.
No, no, it's not just imported. It happens anywhere. So
Oh,
the infection is called Anisa Kiss.
Anisa Kiss.
Anisa Kiss. That's the infection called Anisakis, right? It is caused by Anisakis. Anisakis is a type of worm, it's a herring worm,
Oh,
which is found in raw fish, in sushi or sashimi. Yeah. So if you think that, it happens only in dirty Japanese cafe in Malaysia or KL, 2 weeks ago, in February, there's this Singaporean lady who was eating in a uh, sushi outlet called Don Donkey outlet in Tanjong Pagar, Singapore, right? She and husband was eating, enjoying the food until she saw this worm inside her sashimi rice bowl,
ayo. Oh
right?
no.
And she almost vomited after that. Right? Now, if you think that, this thing maybe happened once in a million times, that's why I'm here to let you know the things you do not know about Japan, right? Because University of Washington, which is a top university in America, they conducted a research, and they found out that from 1978 to 2015, right, this this worm, this Anisa Kiss, right, has increased 283 times.
Wow, that's a
That's in
huge.
America.
Mm.
This not from me, not from somebody. This from University of Washington.
Mm.
So uh, the Don Donkey outlet in Singapore, the one in February 2023, was not the first time. It happened in another outlet. The same chain again, the same worm. I mean, if you all haven't, why I don't eat raw Japanese food? Because the first time I had it was in Chikuyote. Chikuyote is a very famous Japanese restaurant in the mid 80s
Oh,
in Siwachan Plaza in Jalan Raja Chulan. Yeah.
in Malaysia.
In Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur,
Oh.
Jalan Raja Chulan, Siwachan Plaza near the Wells Supermarket, near Shangri-La Hotel.
Mm.
Famous high-end Japanese restaurant called Chikuyote. So I went there for lunch, and then okay lah, eat raw fish, raw food lah. Eat raw squid, raw cuttlefish. Oh my goodness, that was the first time that I ever had raw something raw, because it was not properly. I don't know. It was not properly maintained or whatever it is. I tell you, the taste, the smell was so horrible that I literally vomited.
Ayo.
That was the first and last time that I ever ate any raw seafood. That was 40 years ago. Because the memory still stays in my head. The smell, the taste, still stuck. It's stuck in your head.
Would you want to try again?
No.
No.
Because this is not just Japanese, because if you
Mm.
read raw oyster,
Mm.
right? I was with my nephew. We went to another premium restaurant in KL. You know, raw oyster, you take suck like that.
Yeah.
Hey, dig. He was about to suck, and then he saw all the worms crawling. Ah! And then he put down, and then try another one, and all the worms crawling. Oh gosh! I said, how can you be so uncivilized eating all the worms? So okay, when you think about food, think of Anisa Kiss, right?
Okay.
It's herringworm, and if you like to see what it looks like, go and do an internet search and see what is Anisa Kiss.
Anisa Kiss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then you talk about food, right?
Mm.
You like sushi, right?
Mm.
You know the conveyor belt sushi, right? Because recently there's a thing called sushi terrorism.
Sushi terrorism.
You heard before? Huh? These
I
are
have not.
terrorists that attack sushi restaurants. It happens in Japan. So what they do is the biggest chain in Japan called Sushiro, right? So these are local Japanese, and what they do is, the conveyor belt, the sushi will come, right? So they take out the food, and then they'll lick, and then put it back. And then the soy sauce will come, right? They take the soy sauce, purposely lick, and then put it back.
Ayan. No, I don't feel like I don't have any appetite.
It's okay. I've got more to come.
Oh no!
Right?
So these are all the things that we do not know about Japan.
Because people hardly write about them. And the company that operates, that own this Sushiro, because the guy who did it put it on social media, it went viral.
Oh.
So a lot of people saw him. It was terrible. It's very uncivilized. It's very rude. It's very crude because he did it purposely. You could see he was laughing, his face there. So lick the thing, put it back, and then do all kinds of things to the wasabi and all that. So the share price of the company plunged 5% on the day the video went viral.
Oh.
So they've arrested, the Japanese police have arrested, because it affects not just this Sushiro, it affects all the conveyor belt Japanese food industry.
Because
And because a lot of them, I mean, come on, would you like it? You can pick up this food on the curb,
No.
you're thinking, oh my goodness, what saliva is there, right?
yeah.
And some more with COVID-19, right? Got COVID-19 infection, right? So their sales drop a lot. So the Japanese police have arrested, and I think 2 or 3 of them, and all of them are local Japanese. So that's sushi terrorism.
Sushi terrorism.
Okay. Now you earlier said you want to go to hot spring, right?
Yes.
Hot, nice. You can see the steaming, the steam coming out, right? Now, hot springs are called onsen in Japan, right? ONSEN, right? Now, Usually, it's very popular in Japan. And what happened was recently, uh, they discovered there's a group of Japanese guys, I think 16 or 17 Japanese people, including a doctor from Tokyo, who has been secretly filming 10,000 over women bathing naked in the hot spring.
Hmm.
And they've been doing it for 30 years. It
Three
was
zero.
30,
Wow.
even before you're born.
Yes.
So now, these 16, 17 people did it to they got about 10,000
Mm.
over women recorded, film, right? And sometimes what they do is they'll drug them and then put them into indecent acts and then film them,
Mm.
right? And this happens in their onsen, in their hot springs. So now, if it took them 30 over years, this guy's been doing for 30 over years before he's discovered, and he has already filmed 10,000 women. How many more are there out there that are not discovered? How many more innocent women who bathe naked were filmed?
Hmm.
Maybe you go and search, on YouTube, see.
Maybe I couldn't search anything.
I don't know. I don't know because this bunch of 16, 17 people, after that, the film, they will have their own private parties and then watch the films and all those things.
Oh.
Right? So when you think about the hot spring, don't just think of the nice hot spring. Oh, nice, go inside there. Because what they do is this bunch of people, they were discovered, they were caught, and they discovered that they have a lot of high technology equipment. That means they can film you even though they're so far away. Got high powered telescopic camera and so on and so forth. Very well organized. So when you go there, please make sure, right? Go and check all the bushes, check all the garden,
Mm.
no camera. Then only you start bathing naked.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll see you on the social media.
No.
Okay, that is the onsen, right?
Yes.
And then in Japan, it's also famous for Ryokan.
Mm.
Ryokan, which is their traditional. It is very nice. It's very romantic,
Mm.
right? And it is popular with tourists, local and foreign tourists, same like the onsen. Except that this was also recently, right? They discovered this is a high-end, luxurious Ryokan called Daimaru Besso.
Daimar.
Daimaru Besso, Besso. It's a luxurious Ryokan that was even visited by Emperor Hirohito. Right? Now, what is so wrong with this Ryokan? You see, it has got the what do they call it? The hot spring, hot water bath, right? Hot spring bath, right? And under the Japanese laws, the water inside this hot spring bath have to be changed twice a week. Now, this Daimaru Besso change the water only 2 times in a year when the Ryokan is not operating. So what's wrong with that? Huh? Now what's wrong with that was, how did they discover? They discovered it last year. They discovered because one of the visitor got ill, got sick. They tested, the Japanese government official went to test, and they found that in this hot spring bath inside this Ryokan, a bacteria called Legionella, Legionella, Legionella bacteria, right? And this caused you to be really sick. This patient was really sick. So, and then they discovered that he visited there. So they investigated and they found out that the water in the hot spring, the level of bacteria was 3,700 times the normal level.
Mm.
So that means they never cleaned. It wasn't clean. And this is your high-end Ryokan. And you look at all the photos and all the tourist guides in the internet. Ryokan looks onsen. Ryokan looks so romantic. Someone end up with eating sushi and all that. So I just want you to know these are the things that you don't know about Japan,
Yeah.
right? But that's not the end. Now, all of you may have bought Toyota cars, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you bought Toyota car.
No.
Okay. Your parents bought.
No.
Your boyfriend
But
bought.
no.
Okay. So Toyota is well known for launching the eco-friendly Prius hybrid, right? Many years ago,
Mm.
right? But because they have fallen behind in terms of EV technology, behind America, behind Europe, behind China. So what Toyota is doing now is they cannot compete anymore because they don't have a good EV electric vehicle. So what they do is they're lobbying the American government to lower the emission standards so that the EV doesn't get so popular. So in other words, they're playing dirty, right? So if you are having a Toyota car, I think for the sake of climate change, please boycott Toyota. Please sell your Toyota car
Mm.
because I mean they did correctly by having Prius that was eco-friendly, but now they don't have a competitive EV model to sell. And they're playing dirty by asking the American government to change the laws so that the EV doesn't have so much advantage. If you don't believe in climate change, okay, fine, but I believe that the climate definitely has changed. Severe weather is here. You don't have floods in Johor. We have never heard of flooding in Johor in March, right? This is something that is unusual. You don't have heavy snow, heavy rain in California in March. You don't have ice, Siberia weather in UK in March. If you think that climate change is here and you can do something about it, companies that they always talk about ESG, correct?
Correct.
Oh, your palm oil companies, you don't follow ESG. Your glove factories, you don't follow ESG. What about their companies when they don't follow ESG? Okay, anyway, so I leave it to you. And then people all say, oh, China has got a population problem because the population is aging and so on and so forth, right? Now, guess what? Which country, this is a quiz for you, which country has got a lower or higher birth rate? Birth rate means like how many births per 1,000 person. Okay, I give you Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, and China. 5 countries, right? Oh, Taiwan is not a country. Taiwan is
Nice.
an island in China, right?
Okay.
I give you these 5 regions, right? Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, and China, right? Out of these 5, which one has got the lowest birth rate?
China.
Okay, which one has got the highest birth rate out of these 5?
Japan.
Okay, very good because all your answers are wrong.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, you have not won the prize. Okay, this is based on the latest. This is based on this. This is not manufactured by Teng Boo. This data I'm getting is from CIA,
Oh.
the Central Intelligence Agency of America.
Mm.
Right, it's from them. I purposely use CIA so that you don't accuse me of being pro-China, right?
Okay.
Okay, the birth rate, the births per 1,000 for China is 9.69. Okay, Singapore is 8.94. Right, Taiwan 7.33, South Korea 6.95, Japan 6.9. Just the reverse of what you said.
Yeah.
Right, it's okay because most people think the same way that you do.
Yeah.
The CIA has data on 228 countries based on their birth rate. 228 in the world. You know where is Japan ranked?
Not sure.
From bottom 3, number 3 from the bottom. Japan is ranked 225 out of 228 countries. So these are the things you don't know about Japan. And they keep saying, oh, China has got a demographic problem, China has got a population problem, China will get old before it get rich. Hey, bloody hell, Japan is really disappearing. Right? And then one more thing. In 2010, well, 12 years ago, right, Japan's population was over 128 million Japanese. 128, right? Above that. Now, 2021, that's the latest data we have. Guess how many Japanese are there? Take a guess, though. I'll let you be a winner now. Even if you get the answer wrong, I'll give you a winning prize.
Okay, one, two. I think after 10.
That was 128 million, right?
Mm,
10 years ago, 11 years ago. What is the population of Japan now?
217.
Ceh,
Check.
teruk lah you. 11 years later, the population of Japan has plunged to 125.6 million.
Wah.
So in the 11 years, the absolute, this is not the birth rate, nah, this is the absolute size of the Japanese population has dropped from 128 to 125.6, which is a drop of about 2.4, 2.5 million. So if you look at it now, 11 years later, there are 2.5 million fewer Japanese
Fewer.
in 11 years. So if you do a projection, if you do projection 20, 30 years from now, by say 2050, 2060, the Japanese population will be below 100 million. So if you want to marry a Japanese husband, you better hurry up.
Oh, after listening to this video, I do not want to
Right? So not only the Japanese population aging, but the number of Japanese is declining. Absolute number. Now, few people know this. Right? It's okay. It's okay. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to share things that you do not know about Japan, right? And more interestingly, we talk about brain drain, right? In Malaysia, a lot of Malaysians leave Malaysia, blah blah blah, right? But do you know Japan also got brain drain? Right? Okay, in 2010, sorry, in 2002, about 20 years ago, right? There were about 285,000 Japanese who have left Japan, who have become PR of other countries. 285,000 Japanese in 2002. 20 years later, guess how many PR in other countries have left Japan? Okay, I've given you a very difficult session today. The number of Japanese that have migrated and become PR other countries, especially in America, has doubled.
double the.
Double the one in 2002. There are 557,000 Japanese that have gone.
Left Japan.
Yeah, left Japan. So plus the fact that the number of Japanese in absolute number is shrinking, the number of Japanese leaving Japan is increasing. Maybe by then you can go to Japan, the whole country will be empty, no people. Okay, the other one. The former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was assassinated recently. He was killed by a local Japanese. Right? Do you know why he was assassinated?
Do I know why is?
Because Shinzo Abe is the longest serving Prime Minister of Japan. He's been the most powerful Japanese Prime Minister. Right? Why was he assassinated by a local Japanese? Guess.
Guess. Guess. Why?
Okay. Now this is interesting because what I'm sharing with you now, all these are facts that are hidden from you, that are kept secret from you. The Ryokan, if not for the person who got sick, they wouldn't know that the water hasn't changed.
Yeah.
The onsen, also they wouldn't know. Right? Now, this assassination of Shinzo Abe was committed by a Japanese because he was very, very angry with Shinzo Abe. Why was he angry with Shinzo Abe? Don't know. Okay. I'm here to help you.
Bad relationship. Okay, yes.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah. Because Shinzo Abe has got linkages with what is known as the Unification Church. Unification Church is a Christian movement that was started from South Korea and now, of course, expanded through Japan and so on. And this guy went to kill Shinzo Abe because the Unification Church bankrupted his family because the church asked his mother to donate all the family savings to the church, and as a result of which his family went bankrupt and became poor. So he's very angry that Shinzo Abe, was the Prime Minister of Japan, was associated with the Unification Church and did nothing. Then, because of this assassination, otherwise the whole country doesn't know.
Yeah.
The whole world doesn't know. Then the other dark, ugly secret of Japan came out. They found out that after investigation, they found out that 50%, the ruling party, political party in Japan is called LDP, Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, right? They are the one ruling the country, forming the prime minister and so on. 50% of the parliamentarians in LDP are linked with the Unification Church. That is scary
Yes.
because it wasn't done openly. I mean, here we talk about Party Islam, right? It's okay because we know Party Islam is Islamic party is disclosed, shared with everybody. Everybody knows that. But here you have LDP, which has been ruling the Japanese country since World War II for the 90% of the time, has got secret links with Unification Church. 50% of their parliamentarians, and was not disclosed. So if Shinzo Abe was not assassinated, it would not have been known. So what does that mean? Does that mean that it has influenced Japan's foreign policy? Why is Japan? Look at Japan, right? They always said, "Oh, China is fighting with China is so aggressive," right? But you look at Japan. Japan is basically a group of islands. Japan doesn't have any neighbors that is physically next to it, right? Because you got all the seas, right? But Japan is quarreling with Russia. Japan is quarreling with North Korea. Japan is quarreling with South Korea. Japan is quarreling with China. All the neighbors Japan is quarreling with. And the Japanese people, don't take my word for it, do your own research. The Japanese people, because they industrialized us in the whole of Asia, they are the first one to industrialize and westernize during the Meiji Reformation. Meiji Reformation was in 1850 or 1860. After that, they became very Western, became very powerful. And the Japanese always think of themselves as white Asian. It means they are like the whites, but they're Asian. And they look down on the backward Asian countries.
Which is Asian country.
Yeah, I mean, the Asian countries in China, in Malaysia, in Korea, they look down on them. Now, then you have this Unification Church, which is a Christian organization, and you look at the foreign policy of Japan. The foreign policy of Japan is whatever America says I must do, I will do. Why? You're an Asian country, man. You got Asian neighbors, isn't it, right? You got Asian culture, you got Asian values, right? But doesn't that tell us something about the influence of Unification Church, which was hidden from the whole world until Shinzo Abe was assassinated? So this guy who killed Shinzo Abe is my hero. Because without him assassinating, we don't know the truth.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, in case I talk too much, I got one very important why I choose this topic.
Yes.
The most important reason why I choose this topic. I hope y'all can see what I'm going to show you. Can you see this? All right, can you see this from United Nations website? Right?
Need to zoom in.
Huh? Can zoom in. This United Nations website, it says, again, okay, good. Thank you very much. So I read the headlines. It says, UN experts deeply disappointed by the Japanese government decision to discharge Fukushima Water.
Oh.
This is the most important reason why I'm bringing up this topic. Now, what is this all about? There was a triple disaster that hit Japan in 2011. There was a tsunami, there was an earthquake, and so on and so forth that hit Fukushima area, which is north of Tokyo, right? So that area has a lot of nuclear reactors for electricity generation. So the nuclear reactors were all affected. And then what do? They shut it down, right? But you got to keep on putting the water and so on so that maintain it so that it doesn't get heated up and so on, right? So what happened is this was 11 years ago, right? This was the worst because the tsunami and the earthquake damaged the nuclear reactor. So there was this kind of nuclear disaster like Chernobyl. Chernobyl happened in Russia in the 1980s, right? This one is worse than Chernobyl. So what they've done is they have this cooling water, right, to cool the nuclear reactor. But they're running out of space to store the water. No more space. So what the Japanese government wants to do is they want to release this radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean,
Oh,
right? So when I showed you just now, right? Okay, where's my poster? Where the United Nations, right? It says this one here, right? Now let me read out to you. This was written in 2021. You can go to the website called www.news.un.org, and then you can get it from there, right? So it says three independent human rights experts expressed deep regret over Japan's decision to discharge potentially still radioactive Fukushima nuclear plant water into the Pacific Ocean, warning that it could impact millions across the Pacific region. The release of 1 million tons of contaminated waters into the marine environment imposes considerable risks to the full enjoyment of human rights of concerned populations in and beyond the borders of Japan. This is from the UN experts, right? So the expert says that the Japanese government decision was very concerning, very worrying. The decision is particularly disappointing as experts believe alternate solutions to the problems are available. Now, this is from the UN. I have another one here. I don't know whether you can see. This is a warning from Greenpeace.
Greenpeace.
All of us know Greenpeace, right? So, this is not something created by anti-Japanese people. This is Greenpeace, right? This was in 2020. Says that contaminated water that releases into the Pacific Ocean contains radioactive carbon with the potential to damage human DNA.
Ayo.
Greenpeace says that 1.2 million metric tons of water stored at the nuclear plant in Fukushima contains dangerous levels of the radioactive isotope carbon 14 and other hazardous radionuclides, which it says will have serious long-term consequences for the communities and the environment if the water is released into the Pacific Ocean. So this is another thing very important. Now, what happens? Once the radioactive water is released into the Pacific Ocean, the radioactive materials will spread to the Pacific Ocean's marine life and ecology within 57 days. Right? And the radioactive water will reach the shores of America and Canada within 3 years. And it will reach all the oceans throughout the whole world within less than 10 years. And carbon 14. Maybe you think, oh, never mind, it can the effect will go off and so on and so on, right? It will deteriorate and all that. Carbon 14 has a half-life of 5,000 over years. In other words, once it goes into the ocean, it's going to be there for forever. And it doesn't go into the ocean, it goes into the marine life, the fish that you eat, the squid that you eat, the water that you drink. So this is the one reason, the major reason why I have to share with you the things that you do not know about Japan. Because we are not talking about it. The global community is not. Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, and China have been very against it, but the Western media have not given it coverage. Hey, the radioactive water is going to flow down to Straits of Malacca, South China Sea, you know. Our ikan kembung comes from South China Sea, you know. Our ikan tenggiri comes from Straits of Malacca, you know. Right? And the local fishermen in Japan are also opposed to it because they say that my fishes will all be contaminated. Right? And the company that operates the nuclear plant is called Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO. TEPCO has been telling people, don't worry, we're taking care of it. So can you believe TEPCO? Can you believe Tokyo Electric Power Company? No, they are the worst of all. If you want to talk about lying, they're the worst liars. Because before the Fukushima earthquake in 2011, TEPCO already is well known for having a reputation for covering up nuclear accidents. You go and this one you can do the internet search. TEPCO cover-ups or TEPCO frauds or TEPCO nuclear accidents. You can do that. They've been covering up all kinds of nuclear accidents and not disclose it. So here you have TEPCO operating the nuclear plants and they're telling the world that it's okay, it's safe for me to release the contaminated water into Pacific Ocean.
Oh yeah, it's not okay.
So I was have this topic because I want people, whoever it is, please, it can affect you, not you, your children. It can affect whatever it is.
Next generations.
It's going to be there for a long, long time, and do something about it. I don't know what can be done. Maybe we can
Maybe
get.
this live video.
Okay, make this one live video. Maybe we can organize a group of us, go in front of the Japanese embassy on Monday, put a banner, say, stop releasing the water into Pacific Ocean. Don't kill us.
Protest.
Yeah, protest. Why not?
Yeah.
Right, and then do something about it. Let it be heard because the ocean, the waters of the oceans are all interconnected. It's not, oh, don't worry, it's so far away in Japan, but they flow down. The currents flow down. Okay, maybe comments? No comments?
Yes.
Okay.
Comments. You see, maybe I'm canceling my Japan trip after this.
Uh, I mean, I leave that to you all, but look, one of the countries that has really lied to the public is Japan, because those of you who know me may know this, but those of you who don't know me, I do my research very deeply. I do my research very objectively. I look at it from different points of view. I'm able to dig up things that other people don't dig up. Like, for example, Okinawa. The US has got huge military bases in Okinawa. Huge. They are among the largest military bases in the world. And Okinawa is not a big island. I've been to Okinawa before. In fact, I nearly died there. Okinawa is famous for their cliffs, right? And I was there with a tourist guide, and because there were a lot of undergrowth covering it, so I nearly fell into the hole, which was about 300 feet below. If I fall, I would have cracked my head.
Oh,
The tourist guide pulled me up before I could fall inside the hole.
thank you, the tourist guide.
So I know Okinawa. I've been there, and the Okinawa people do not want the military bases. They told the central government in Tokyo, if you want US military bases, why don't you shift it to the Japan Islands? Why do you put it in Okinawa? And you call Japan a democracy? No, the Okinawan people are not listened to. They have protested again and again and again, and nothing is done. So if you want to go to Japan, go with an open eyes and have a good, enjoy yourself.
Enjoy the culture.
Uh, I mean, you want to enjoy the culture, don't forget a lot of things were stolen from China. Bonsai, the mini Japanese plant, stolen from China. And they all talk about the Japanese green tea and all that, right? The sencha and all that. Those are from China. Anyway, yeah. Any comments? Or maybe I'm saying too much already.
Disclose. We do have a question from Teng Boo, what do you think on the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank?
Oh dear, there's nothing
Yes,
to do with Japan.
affect the Japan market or economy.
No, Silicon Valley Bank is a different game altogether.
Mm.
Uh, any question on Japan? No.
Japan
Okay, so all of them are canceling their trips
canceling
to
trip.
Japan.
I,
Look, Silicon Valley Bank is a very unusual type of bank.
mm,
It's a bank. It's the 16th largest bank in America. The assets is about 200 over billion US dollars. It's not small,
mm,
right? So what has happened is this Silicon Valley Bank is called Silicon Valley Bank because it is a bank that only serves the technology companies, especially the technology startups,
mm,
right? So what it does is a lot of these technology startups, they raise their cash right from their private equity, from venture capital, right, and
mm,
then do their whatever business or project, right? And in the meantime, they'll take loans from Silicon Valley or put their deposits inside there, their cash, right? So what has happened is that there were rumors, there were news going around that Silicon Valley Bank was having some problem, and then a lot of the uh, technology private equity firms pull out their money, right, from Silicon Valley Bank, and Silicon Valley Bank had to sell a lot of their bonds at a loss of about 1.8 billion dollars US, right? So anyway, to cut a long story short, the bank ran out of money and had to close down. So more importantly is it will affect the technology industry in US because a lot of tech startups depend on this bank. So a lot of the technology startups now, because the bank is closed, they have no money. They got no money to pay their staff. So what happens? A lot of the staff wrote to the company, said, "Where's my salary?" Say, "I don't have the money." So the technology sector in Silicon Valley is going to be badly affected by the bankruptcy of Silicon Valley Bank. And in America, the law is such that your deposit
mm.
is insured by the US government only up to $250,000. Anything above that is not insured.
Yeah.
So some of them, like Roku is a ROKU is an IT company, is a technology company, right?
Mm.
They got 500 million US dollars stuck inside there. So
Mm.
Roku, that's why the share price of Roku plunged because people say that Roku might not survive anymore.
Yeah.
You have $500 million because the $500 million is not insured. You only insure up to 250,000.
Mm.
So how am I going to pay my salary? So a lot of startups, technology in Silicon Valley are going to be affected. And so anyway, that is Silicon Valley is nothing to do with onsen or Ryokan or Fukushima.
All right. Yeah. So
Any other questions? No?
yes,
Okay.
from Vince, do you think neighboring countries know about this nuclear water issue? If yes, why is this issue not exposed widely?
Nobody, only China, Taiwan, and South Korea. Among the three, South Korea and China have opposed it the most. United States has told Japan, don't worry, go ahead, do it, it's safe.
Mm.
United Kingdom, which is like the other end of the world, thinking that they won't be affected. United Kingdom and United States have told Japan, go ahead, it's safe. China and South Korea have opposed it very strongly. Taiwan, the Taiwanese, they I don't know why they're so supportive of Japan. They protest a bit.
Just a little bit.
The others, Philippines quiet, Vietnam quiet, Malaysia senyap, Singapore also very quiet, Indonesia also quiet, Thailand also very quiet. The good question is why are they also quiet? Because nobody talks about it, nobody cares. And why should they care? Why should the government care? Because by the time it's not you, by the time this person get cancer maybe 50 years from now, and you by the time you get cancer, you cannot link it to Fukushima. How are you going to link it to Fukushima?
Cannot.
Right? So nobody cares.
Maybe they should care more.
That's that's the sad thing about human beings. It's something uh, I don't know. A lot of things to be easily done. Like the UN expert says, there are actually alternate solutions. So you don't have to discharge the water, and once you discharge, it stays in the ocean for thousands and thousands of years. What are you trying to do? Trying to kill the planet.
Yep. So another question.
Hmm.
Biotechnology companies like Invita and Pacific Bioscience too will be affected. Time to sell? Question.
No, I don't want to answer this question because they have nothing to do with Japan.
Technology
Yeah, we have a
companies.
separate session on those things.
Okay. So why Japanese citizens did not complain on these issues?
Oh, they do. Oh, they
Or
do. They do. They do.
they went for protests?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Okinawa the protest,
Mm,
they are silent because no Western media reports it.
mm,
Right. The Fukushima, very few Western media cover it. They
mm,
cover maybe once like that, and then after that, that's it. They don't follow up.
mm,
The Ryokan and the onsen, who cares? They only talk about how nice it is to eat sushi, right? So the most important, the most effective way of doing this is through the media,
mm,
the mass media, right? But
mm,
unfortunately, the media is controlled by the Western powers.
mm,
Now, you look at the media companies, right? Whether it's Fox News, New York Times, or Sky News, they're controlled globally. They're controlled only by three or four powerful Western families.
mm.
It's a monopoly. So if they don't want to say it, nobody can say it. I mean, if Berita Harian writes, right, or Singcho Jepo writes, nobody reads it. But if BBC or CNN say, wow, so
Hoo-ha.
true.
Mm,
Any
yes. What can China do to address this issue?
Okay, I'm not
Can
sure what this issue refers to. The Fukushima.
Yeah, the water issues?
You can't do anything.
China can't do anything.
Protest only, no? Right? I mean, is within the nuclear plant is on Japanese territory,
Mm,
right? And the law, the United Nations law of the sea, your legal boundary of the sea is only up to 12 miles.
mm,
And then you have what is known as the economic zone. That's about 300 kilometers, right? So beyond that, water is all connected. Where is it going to flow? How are you going to protest? The only way you can do is to make sure it doesn't get released to the Pacific Ocean. But how are you going to force Japan to do it?
mm,
Right? Only two countries are concerned: South Korea and Japan. Nobody else is concerned.
mm.
Well, who knows? But maybe 50 years later,
They
and
see this
suddenly,
video.
suddenly you see a lot of people in East Asia. From Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, all the way to Japan, South Korea. You see a lot of people dying in a very strange way from strange cancer. Then maybe somebody say, "Oh yeah, 30 years ago, the water was released by Fukushima." Then maybe people will wake up.
By the time he might not be here
Yeah, by the time I won't be here.
already. Mm,
So what can China do? It's not just China. It has to be countries like America. America is the most important because Japan is like the 51st state of America,
mm.
right? So if the master in Washington doesn't allow it, then Japan can't do it.
So
That's it, right?
that's it.
Okay. No more comments.
No more comments? No more.
So any suggested topic for next week?
For now,
What you do not know about Malaysia, or what you know about Malaysia but don't want to admit it?
hmm. So do you consider Japanese as a closed economy and not as open as China?
Japan has gone backwards. The Japanese economy is declining,
Mm,
and they have already they've lost out in terms of innovation. They've lost out in terms of brain drain because they are unable. They are not willing to, and they are not able to accept the realities that they are facing. They are not able to conduct self-criticism. Those who criticize them, the LDP is like having a monopoly over political power. And money politics in Japan is among the worst. The LDP is among the most corrupted political party in the world. Our fourth prime minister learned from LDP. That's why we got money politics in Malaysia after our Look East policy. Yeah, we had Look East policy in 1983 by the fourth Prime Minister. And the one thing that he learned successfully is money politics imported from Japan.
Hi.
Yeah. I mean, the one sad thing, another thing that you don't know about Japan is the atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right?
Mm.
World War II, one bomb was dropped in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. A lot of the common story is that, oh, it was dropped because America wanted Japan to surrender. Now, that is the simple fairy tale. If you dig deeper, what President Truman, who was the president of United States at that time, wanted to do was, because Japan was about to surrender already, the generals, even General MacArthur was already telling Truman that Japan is going to surrender already. Don't have, because they were almost defeated, they were already totally devastated already. The real reason why President Truman ordered the two atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and killed more than 500,000 civilians is because President Truman wanted to send a warning to Russia. Because President Truman wanted Russia to know that, look, we are powerful, we are more powerful than you. These are the bombs that we have. You don't do anything funny. So President Truman used Nagasaki and Hiroshima as an example to warn Russia.
Mm.
I mean, it's sad, because
Yes.
so many people died.
It's a bit sad, but then we do have a final question
Sure.
from Elaine.
Yeah.
Japan has among the highest forex reserve in world. Why she can't get out from Plaza Accord?
Because Japan is, you know, you talk to the Japanese people, do you know that in the Japanese history syllabus, there's no such thing as the Nanking massacre? The Japanese, if you talk to the Japanese people, the youngsters who have gone through secondary school and all that, that the Nanking massacre happened, they are shocked because they said in the history book it's not mentioned.
Hmm.
Now, answer this question, right? Plaza Accord was in 1985.
Mm.
What happened was Japan was a very successful exporter. Toyota knocked out all the American companies. Sanyo, Sony knocked out all the Western consumer electronics. Fujitsu and all that were important computer competitors to IBM. And Japan was like dominating the world because they were so successful in exports. So of course, America is always the sore loser. Say, okay, look, Japan, I want you to control your exports because you cannot export so much to my country. So what they do is they have the Plaza Accord and told Japan, I want you to appreciate your yen. In other words, the yen exchange rate against US dollar has to go up. It went up by about 50 to 80%. Right? And the yen strengthened. And because of that, they created a Japanese bubble in the Japanese economy in the 80s. And because of that, the Japanese exports suffered. So what happened was, due to the strengthening of the Japanese yen, the Japanese people had no choice but to build. Toyota got to build their plants in US. The Panasonic got to move out to Malaysia to compete. Right. So now the question is, why Japan cannot get out of the Plaza Accord? Because Japanese people, you talk about the linkage with the Unification Church, which is a Christian movement, which has been in LDP for a long time, right? So Japan was colonized by US. US left physically, but mentally, culturally, emotionally, US is still the colonial master of Japan. Right? Hey, the number of military bases that America has in Japan is the most in the world. The number of American soldiers in Japan is the highest in the world. So you have a country that is very subservient to United States. So the question is, Why? Why are the Japanese not waking up? Why are the Japanese people not doing something about this? I have no answer to that because I'm very puzzled also.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Timbu, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank
And
you.
then, guys, if let's say you have any suggested topic, do feel free to let us know
Yes,
as well.
please, please. It'll be interesting to discuss topics that you suggest.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then
it could be anything. Yeah,
it could be anything.
yeah. It could be better. We should go to Ryokan our next trip
Yes.
and see whether we get affected by the
And then the
bacteria
worms. Yeah.
and the worms.
So, and don't forget to follow our social media channel as well: Instagram, Capital Dynamics, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, and also our YouTube channel. Subscribe the like button and to receive
Oh
notifications
yeah, yeah.
from
By
us.
the way, for those of you
Mm.
who invested in our funds, right?
Ah,
We have a fund gathering. Another special. We had the last one in January this year. Because the market is so turbulent, right? You see US plunging, right? US interest rates going up, and then the Silicon Valley Bank, right? And then Malaysia, you have the second prime minister being charged. Malaysia really bole, you know. We are the only very few countries in the world where we've got two prime ministers that are charged for corruption, you know. So market is turbulent, and we're having a second special gathering on the 25th of March, right? So if you can go to www.icapital.biz, you can get all the details inside there, and you can get register for yourself for our special funds gathering.
yes, and we
Right?
hope to see you guys there. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the session. See you again next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.